Annyeonghaseyo, my name is Laura, and today we're going to be making kimchi jjigae, or kimchi stew. Now there are two important ingredients to this recipe, and that is the broth, and also you have to have good kimchi if you're going to be making kimchi jjigae. Okay, so we're going to start with the broth. You need 4 ingredients. You're going to have 6 cups of water, half an onion, 5 anchovies, deheaded and degutted, and about 5 by 3 inches of the hard dry seaweed. Now the anchovies and the seaweed are very important for the broth because they're going to add a lot of flavors to the stew. It's going to be that underlying base that you're going to get all of those flavors kind of seeping up through the pork belly and the kimchi and really just blend together to make a very well-balanced, flavorful dish. Really just blend together to make a very well-balanced, flavorful dish. Oh no! Hey, get out of there! Okay, so you're just gonna take the anchovy and you're gonna tear the head off. And if you don't get the guts with the head, you can just kind of peel it open a little bit. And then you want this black part to come out from inside. So we're gonna put these in the broth. Oh, you want some anchovies? None for you. Sorry. And for the onion, you kind of want to cut it into bigger chunks. You don't want small chunks, you want bigger chunks of onion. The onion brings out some sweetness into the dish. So as I mentioned before, the stew is very flavorful. You have a lot of different flavors and profiles going on. So you get the seaweed and the anchovies for the saltiness and the umami flavor, and then the onion adds some sweetness. Now some people do like to add sugar, about a tablespoon of sugar, but I don't really like to add sugar to it. I don't like it to be too sweet, so the onion is kind of just what I use for my sweetness. All right, so now we're gonna put the seaweed in. Turn it on high and bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling, we're going to let it boil for 15 minutes, and I'm also going to put a lid on it. So I don't lose any of my water. For the rest of the ingredients, we're going to use 4 pieces of samgyupsal, 3 smashed garlics, 2 green onion stalks chopped up, sliced tofu, next we have gochujang or red chili paste and also red chili flakes, and these 2 ingredients are added based off of your preference of how spicy you want the jjigae to be. Then we also have sesame oil, and of course we cannot have kimchi jjigae without the kimchi, so we have about 2 to 3 cups of kimchi here, and we also have kimchi juice, which we're going to add to the stew. The broth has been boiling for 15 minutes now, so we're going to go ahead and turn that off, and we're going to take a look. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these ingredients out of the water and only have the broth left. Oh, anchovy down! Okay, so next we're gonna cook the samgyupsal. We like to cook our samgyupsal in the full piece before we end up cutting it, and you want to wait for that meat to release from the pan and flip it, and once it releases from both sides, then it's done cooking, and then you can cut it up. We have the samgyupsal cooking right now, and you see all the oils and the fat coming up, and that's good. We want that, and you don't want to drain that out. You want to keep that in the stew because that is a significant part of the flavor as well. So the saltiness of the broth and the fattiness of the samgyupsal kind of balance each other out to make a perfect flavor. 4 pieces about this size, about like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take those 3 smashed garlics from earlier and I'm gonna throw those in there. Next, we're going to add the kimchi. Okay, so now that we've added those 3 ingredients together, we're gonna add the kimchi juice. And now we're also going to add the broth. So now that we have almost all of the ingredients in the pot, we're going to put the lid on and we're going to let it come to a boil again. This way the kimchi can also get a little bit more soft. Okay, so the kimchi jjigae has been cooking for about 5 minutes now. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste and see if it needs anything else. Okay, it's tasting pretty good, but it can definitely be a little bit more spicy. So we're gonna add some more spice to it. So we're going to add 2 spoonfuls of the Gochu jang, or red chili paste. And then we're also going to add a big heaping spoonful of the chili flakes. Okay, so the spice level is definitely where I want it now. So now we're also gonna add some sesame oil into it to give it just that extra layer of flavor. Oops. Okay, so it tastes pretty good to me. You have the sesame oil that's giving it a little bit more of a sweet flavor, and then you have the chili peppers giving a little bit more of a spice. You got the fat from the samgyupsal really balancing out the saltiness of the anchovies and the seaweed broth that we made, and it's all blending together pretty well. I just heard the rice pop up. It's done, so we're gonna add the very last 2 ingredients, and then we're gonna stuff our faces. All right, so you just add the tofu in here. You want it to get nice and warm, but you don't want it to cook too long because, as I mentioned, you still want it to be pretty firm. All right, and we are all done. And kimchi jjigae is a really great dish to eat during this time of year. It's cold out, so you got this nice kimchi stew with pork belly and all its yummy, delicious fats to keep you warm. And we are gonna eat this with a side of pap or rice, and also some kim, the dried salty seaweed. And yeah, just stuff our faces and stay warm this winter. Thanks for watching.